I'm Lawrence Apaalse. I'm the Chief Director of the Ministry of Energy, and I have been in this position for the past 2 years. The importance of organizing this third edition in this country is the fact that we have been talking about local companies. We've been talking about engaging the local since 2008, after the discovery of Jubilee in 2007. But we have not actually been able, we've done a lot of policies, we've done all those, but we've not been able to implement it effectively. One of the problems is the financial background, especially when you are dealing with upstream of local companies. The other is knowledge in the upstream environment. You see, in this country, people are used to buying and selling. People are not used to investing in long-term situations. So organizing a conference like this, having deliberations today and tomorrow, is one of the key areas where you can open up people's minds to this type of investment. That the law requires the locals to actually participate. And it is because the Ghanaian society decided that they want to be part. Instead of giving everything to the foreigner to work, we want to be part. And so this is, I would consider a conference as part of a training type of situation for them. The role of this conference for the development of oil and gas in this country is the conscientization. What would we gain if we get into so much local content? What do we lose if we have no local content in our development factor? And the thing is, one, we see this in the Niger Delta. Without locals taking part in this thing, it is already going to be chaos. People have the mentality that some other fellow is coming and exploiting the resources and going. But if they are really involved for day-to-day activities, they would know how this type of business is done. And so it helps to calm the situation. It helps to make people look at this as a real business investment. And also, it retains some of the values, the revenues in this country. Because if the locals are the welders, if the locals are the people who are manufacturing the few machinery that can be done in this country, then the money that we pay them, their families that we take care of, their education, the building of capacity is all part of national development. The message I have for oil companies wishing to explore Ghana oil resources, I'll look at it in two ways. One for the international oil companies and one for local companies who want to explore. The first thing is that for the international oil companies, they should know that we are moving away, or we have moved away from the old ways of doing things where individuals walk into the minister's office and say, I want a block. That's direct negotiations, and people go into it and you talk with the minister and a block is awarded. The Ghanaian population has cried against this because they want more transparency in the award of blocks. They don't want to put all power in the minister to sit in his office and award blocks. And so we came out with a new act, Act 919, which then says that we have to go through competitive tendering process. And that is what we're doing now. So I want in the international community to accept that Ghana has moved away from where we were, and we are now in a different environment. I realized a number of companies, or even reporters, media people, came out with the fact that when we started our bidding round process, a number of companies expressed interest, about 16 companies expressed interest. But when it came to bidding, actually bidding for the blocks, about 3 actually submitted bids. And this is considered to be a failure. I don't agree with that. I don't think that is a failure, because there's also this same large number of people or companies that apply to do direct negotiation at the same time. So the issue is not that we didn't propagate the message well. It is not that there was not enough data, because it's the same blocks. It is that investors want a certain angle, which is direct negotiation, which is what we are going away from. And my appeal is that they must accept where we have moved, because it's the will of the Ghanaian people. It's not just the ministry. For the local companies, they need to help us out. One, the law says that you must have local component in petroleum agreements. Without the local component, we will not sign an agreement with any company. And the local companies are not endowed enough to take the percentage share that we expect them to do. So my appeal to them is that they must come together, form associations. They must be prepared to risk big time, because this is an area that they are not used to. We are used to buying and selling, where you can predetermine your profit. In the upstream, in that you cannot. You can invest and lose completely 100%. You can invest and recoup. What the important and the message I want to give to them is that even when you invest and lose 10 times, and you win the 11th time, you can recover all the 10 losses that you made. So they should come on board.